I know you guys have all the cool names.
Change yours quick. Oh no, we're live.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
This is Storm Along 2020, which you probably know if you are here. This is a read-along for the Rhythm of War, and we're so excited to see all of you here with your comments. We're really here to chat with you guys, so it's exciting to see you guys there. And let's see, this is the second of 4 live streams that we're going to have on Words of Radiance. So we'll have some discussion questions, and then we'll have an open mic time at the end of the questions. But if you ever have anything you want to say, just go ahead and say. We want to hear from you, and if there's something you want to say, like, don't save it up. You can just tell us. We're glad to hear it. So, and if you enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and check out my co-hosts' channels and subscribe. They are all linked down below, and they all have some featured content about Storm Along 2020. And Michael actually has a Discord, and that is also linked down below. So if you want more discussions about Storm Along, just check that out down below. And also, Victoria is going to be doing something special on her channel on Sunday, September 6th at 1 p.m. We're going to host a read-in on her channel. Oh, thank you. Headphones. So we're basically just going to be hanging out and reading together. That's 1 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And so that's what friends do together, right? They sit down and read together.
Sometimes you just need a reading buddy.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of fun. You do like reading sprints together, and
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never done something like that, so it'll be fun. So I hope you join us.
Yes, it's gonna be awesome. So come hang out with us. And let's see. I think that's most of the introductory stuff, except I would love for my co-hosts to introduce themselves if they're cool with that.
This is always the awkward pause we have trying to figure out who's going to go first.
Why did we never decide this beforehand?
Yeah.
Who's going?
Rock, paper, scissors, guys.
I vote. Well, Michael wasn't here last time. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael Nip from the channel Michael Nip. I have a lot of Stormlight content, and hopefully I'm coming up with some ideas for some more. I finished the series earlier this year, and so this is my second read through this year, but it's so fun.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay.
Like we're next.
And we're Ryan and Kristen from the channel Seeking Stories, which hasn't posted in a month, but I promise we have extra content we're working on that should be up very soon. And that wasn't a wink wink like any minute now. It'll probably be sometime next week.
I'm Victoria. I'm from the channel A Musical Bookworm, and occasionally I make book videos.
That's a
Not
great.
often, but sometimes.
Okay, so why don't I'll put a discussion question up here for you guys, and but I would love to just go ahead and chat whatever you want to talk about. But in the meantime, I'll put a banner up here, and you can discuss if you would like to. I would like to hear all of your favorite things so far from reading Words of Radiance or The Way of Kings. Yes, all the favorite things.
Well, I have 2 favorite lines. Like they made me laugh kind of lines. One of them is in the interludes, the Swordmaster's interlude, when he's telling Kaladin that there are 2 people who live here. He says one's a grouchy swordsman and the other's a very grouchy swordsman. It just made me laugh because it was funny. And then in the training scene when Kaladin brings Teft and Moash and the other guy to train, and Teft is like, "Oh, I like him," and someone says, "Oh, that's because you're grumpy too," and he's like, "I'm not grumpy. I just have a low threshold for stupidity." that I think is my favorite line. Next one being the Swordmaster's little bit about grouchy people.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
Relatable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I loved all of anytime Kaladin and Shallan talk. I'm in stitches.
Oh man, yeah,
Their banter is great.
yeah, their first scene where they for real meet when she's actually herself.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get in to see the king. That scene had me cracking up.
How much you want to bet that's gonna like develop, or I don't know, spiral down to a love triangle between Adolin, Shallan, and Kaladin? Like that's just like the basis of like quasi flirting going on right there.
Well, if you think about it, their relationship right now is almost a bit like Beatrice and Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing. Like that's how they start out the play literally at each other's throats. They hate each other, and by the end of the play, they're married.
I mean, typical love story.
Yeah. So crossed my mind that possibility. Yeah.
I think that's a good prediction. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
We will see.
I mean, definitely one of my favorite chapters, and probably a lot of people would agree, is the Boots chapter. I actually laughed out loud, which I never do with books. Like, it's not something that happens. Like I'll laugh on the inside, but not out loud. And yeah, that chapter was just hilarious.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting now that Shallan can like draw a disguise for herself. That was one of my favorite discoveries.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else like she's gonna conjure up down the road. I mean, we already know she's a fantastic artist, can draw whatever she wants. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, could she draw like a chasm fiend to look like that? Like how like we know she can do it in inanimate objects now. What's the extent of her abilities?
Yeah. What about you, Christy?
Well, I particularly enjoyed that scene with Shallan and Adolin and Cal in the training yard. It was just, it was so perfect.
Yeah.
Fun.
I should have got some quotes from that because that scene was just so funny. And then I loved it when Cal's hand came back to life. That moment was like,
that was
cool.
That was
I think that was the most depressing moment for me when like he lost the ability to use his hand. I'm like, after everything Calvin's been through, like, and not that I thought that he would like stay that way, but I thought it would probably take out the book to like get it back and like, oh, the next chapter, if that, you can use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shallan is definitely one of my new favorite characters too, Leslie. Because I was not sure how I would feel about her because it just seemed like early on a lot of people were like, oh, Shallan, she's pretty sketchy, and I was like, yeah, there's some sketchy business there, but now I'm like, nope, Shallan is amazing. I love her fake it till you make it attitude about everything. Like she just like pretends she knows what she's doing and like just fakes it along the way. I just love that.
Yeah. Well, that idea that she's decided like, who do I want to be? And like, this is the person I want to be, so I'm just gonna do it. Like, I mean, that's really the best way to like change something is to just pretend, to just do it, and then eventually you'll be it, kind in a sense.
Yeah. I have to imagine Shallan is one of the harder characters to write out of the main ones. So you've got, Kaladin, typical farm boy, hero. Dalinar, the old, swordsman, warrior king, staple of fantasy. But Shallan is like, she grows so much so quickly, and she's always so witty. Like that just must be, in my mind, it would be exhausting to write her character. But it seems so effortless though.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers there, and there's a lot we don't know too still about her background, and it's a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
So very interesting character. I've had a lot of fun getting to know her better.
I think I have to agree. Shallan's probably my favorite character in this book so far.
Really? Wow.
I will say I have to agree with a comment that someone made. Who was it? Kayla, about the Dalinar stopping the shard blade with his hands. It was a pretty awesome moment. Like that's the kind of moment that like on paper isn't quite so epic, but imagine it in your head. Like that is pretty epic.
Well, I was expecting it to be like some crazy explanation, like Dalinar knew the secret magic that no one else knew in this sword match. It's like, oh yeah, like there's an old trick in the book. He was stupid to try it.
That's still, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, the monsters chapter. Yeah, the horses.
What happened in that chapter?
That was when Kaladin and a couple of his men are supposed to learn how to ride a horse, and he's
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't want to do
yeah.
this.
Like devilish creatures or something.
Yeah.
Yes, the horse seems so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because normally, like, the warrior guy is usually a fan of horses, loves horses, is good with them, and
Mhm.
Cal's like, I mean, Cal, it seems like he's maybe better than your average beginner, but he's not a horse lover at this time.
Yeah. I think it's almost easier at this point to count the things that Kaladin does like than not.
Yeah.
Which one?
Self-promotion. The one, Sept is the best.
Yeah, Zeph is the best.
Sounds like something Seth would say.
Right?
But he'd be really self-deprecating about it.
Yes. Oh, okay, let's put up another banner here, but feel free to keep sharing your favorite moments. Label favorites. And the labels aren't necessary, but they kind of do help me find your answers if you want them highlighted. So our next topic of discussion, if you want, is have your opinion of characters changed at all during this section? Because I know that Leslie in her Discord, she has a thread for Stormlight 2020, and it's really fun to see her reactions to reading Words of Radiance for the first time. And we've seen her opinions change on Renarin and Shallan, and so it was really fun to watch that progression. So, does anyone else have opinions? I know some people have just shared that their opinions about Shallan changed.
Just totally random. I was going to say, Leslie, I thought you had read through the series before. I didn't realize it was your first time reading through it.
I think she had read Way of Kings, but hadn't continued.
Okay. Okay, side note over.
I'm trying to think of
Interesting. Oh, sorry, Kristen.
No. I wasn't going to say anything really that significant. You go first.
I find Renarin to be more interesting now, and I'm like he's been playing with this box like when he is nervous or whatever. Do you guys catch that? And I'm like, what is this box?
Yeah.
What is in this box? Is it significant?
Yeah, because
Right.
Kaladin's perspective kind of made a deal about noticing that. Like, what is that? Because even later, when he shows up, when Renarin shows up to like join Bridge 4, Kaladin again notes like, oh, he doesn't have that box with him. Like, and I felt that was kind of an odd observation. Like, you would expect him to carry it with him. I don't know. It was a little odd, but that he noticed like, oh, but he's not playing with it now, and he's nervous. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something interesting about that box.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know if it was just like showing a nervous tick or if it was like actually like going to be significant.
Yeah. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Hate Moash. I don't know how to say his name. We hate him now. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely to me going to the dark side. Like I feel like we're starting to do that, and that's gonna progress with him. I'm not sure, but yeah.
I don't know that I would say I hate him. I feel really sorry for him that he's gone through such like a tragedy, but that he's responding to it the wrong way. It's a tragic. I think it's more of a tragic arc, a bit like Victoria, you mentioned the dark side. It's a bit like that's how Anakin's journey is. He's dealing with all this stuff that's no one wants to deal with. He just tackles it the wrong way, and it ends up putting him on a tragic path. So yeah. He's one of those people you just want to like shake and be like, it's not how you do it.
The Kaladin.
I know. And poor Kaladin, like he knows, like he's got the answer inside somewhere. He just can't find it. Like because after after the meeting that he has with Moash's, compatriots, he's like, he was bothered that their arguments sounded so good. And you can tell he's like trying to find the logical response, like rebuttal, but he can't. And it's like, I know what it is.
Well, it's an interesting paradox that's going on inside Kaladin's head. It's like he knows that he shouldn't kill Elokar, but at the same time, like he's planning to kill Amaram.
I know.
So it's a paradox there.
Yeah.
Good point.
He's probably gonna have to learn to give that up too first.
Well, especially with Shallan's whole thing with the Ghost Bloods, it's like you have to go to Amaram's estate because he's holding secrets. Like, what the crap is going on in there?
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. I hadn't heard this perspective before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The conversation that he had with Kaladin about his illness and the way the questions that Kaladin was asking him and his reactions, it made me wonder, like, and I mean, maybe it doesn't come up again at all, but it started to make me wonder that maybe he's been almost like misdiagnosed or something, or that certain assumptions have been made about his condition that really aren't true. I don't know. It just, the conversation we've read didn't really come to anything, but it just made me wonder if that, I don't know, if Kaladin's going to find out something about him medically that changes things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leslie has a theory on that.
Come to anything, but it just made me wonder if that.
I think Leslie had a theory about Renarin's, well, what other people are calling it, epilepsy, but she's not convinced, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to pay more attention to Renarin now and how his character is written. That's really interesting.
And I think, Michael, didn't you say a few live streams ago that one of the future books is going to have Renarin's backstory?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's on the list.
Huh. Oh,
Cool.
It gets shuffled around of which book it is, so I don't really trust it because he moves it a lot. But yeah, I think that's one of them.
Because book 2 was going to be Dalinar at some point, wasn't it?
I think so. I think this one, I don't know. I think at one point, this was supposed to be Yasna's, book 4 was supposed to be Yasna's book, but then it got changed, so.
Yeah, because now she's supposed to be like book 10 or something like that.
Well, actually, you guys know the character that it's supposed to be this time now. Because the book 4 flashbacks have been announced, and you guys actually know that character now.
Which character is it?
It's Eshonai.
Oh.
Oh. I avoided everything about book 4, just like out of like sheer paranoia.
Oh, I guess that's kind of spoilers, but
No, that's not
kind of
spoilers.
talking about
Now
it.
we know who Eshonai is, so
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ryan and I haven't even read Oathbringer yet, Kristen. So, so maybe it'll be even more interesting because Ish and I, we don't know right now. So
Isn't there supposed to be 2 flashback characters in book 4 though?
Yes. It's Eshonai and Finale, who I think you also know.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, and who?
That's her sister, right?
Her sister, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize.
there's a lot of names.
Is this true?
Yeah, that's the current state is Thomas
Oh,
Booten.
I
nice.
hope that stays. I'm so
snap.
interested in him.
I would be okay with it being earlier, but I have a feeling it will be later.
Oh, man. Book 10 is like 18 years away. We're going to be ancient, guys.
Are we gonna do a read along every time there's a new release?
I'm down.
Every time.
So we're gonna have to start the read alongs like earlier and earlier every year. For book 10, we'll have to do 9 books
Dang,
a
you're
year to
right.
read through it.
Oh dang!
If we do 2 months for read along, an 18-month read along, we're going up to book 10.
Eshonai in storm form. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's a little upset about it too. I mean, the very last line of her last interlude.
Yeah.
She's like that small voice in her that's like crying in horror or something.
Yeah. Well, once you go to the storm, she's like kind of like make it stop.
Yeah.
But then,
she
like,
tries to quit.
Yeah.
for the people, you guys talked about it a little bit last live stream. For the people that have read Warbreaker, and you guys kind of talked about one of the crossovers that was relevant here, the interlude with Zale has a very, I think, evocative line that is like, I think it's the last line of that interlude. I thought Leslie would like that one.
I'm trying to find the interlude.
I probably have. Oh, you know what? I think the book is upstairs. Amanda's been reading it. She's been doing really, really good on the reading.
Nice.
Is she actually like reading it with her eyes?
No. I think she's looking at the pictures because there's the illustrations,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then also,
definitely.
in theory, I could also read. Someone was asking what page.
I know, I'm trying to find it right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
So
it
the
too.
last line of Zyle's interlude, you said,
I think so.
hadn't been one in years. I guess.
Yes.
I think
Well,
it's referring to a voice in his head.
Yes, that one.
Okay.
Doesn't
Oh, should I read the
Warbreaker?
whole?
It's that little like last paragraph.
Okay,
or
let me. So the kid, referring to Kaladin, grunted, sliding the door shut. Zyle pulled up his blanket. Darn, monks only got one, and turned over on his cot. He expected a voice to speak in his mind as he drifted off. Of course, there wasn't one. Hadn't been one in years.
So, what does that mean?
I don't know. Doesn't
Possibly a reference.
That's something I didn't catch at all because I hadn't read Warbreaker when I read it.
doesn't Warbreaker have something to do with colors?
Yeah.
There's this line in one of the chapters after that when he's training them where he talks about like a little, I think, collection of colored rocks. I wonder if that has anything to do with anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of his, like one of his character quirks is that he uses those weird metaphors or whatever. I think a lot of those are tied to color as well.
Oh, okay. Is it so? We have 3 weeks to finish Words of Radiance after this live stream. I'm thinking about finishing it in 2 weeks and then spending a week reading Warbreaker. Is that too insane of a thing to try to do?
A Warbreaker is shorter than Stormlight. Technically, isn't there 4 weeks?
I think there's 3.
Okay.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying in your Discord, Michael, Rich had mentioned that it's helpful to read Warbreaker before Oathbringer, and I was going to try to squeeze that in. That and Edge Dancer, which I don't even know if that's possible to do both of them.
Edge Dancer is quite short, actually.
Yeah.
For a Sanderson book, I guess.
Right.
So for in between this, you were talking about in between this live stream and the next one, or the one after that?
The one after that. So after
Okay,
next week's live stream.
So the next live stream will be September 10th, and then the one after that will be October 1st. So that it's a little longer than normal. It's, I think, 3 weeks, like you said. So there might be some room.
So 3 weeks to finish Words of Radiance and read Warbreaker and Edge Dancer. Totally.
I recommend it. Yeah, I recommend it.
You got it. You got this. If you can do it, more power to you.
I can't do it. I'm going to try.
I wanted to read Warbreaker like last month, and I was like, no, it's not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen now. So I will just miss out on that. But someday when I reread Stormlight, hopefully by then I will have read Warbreaker, and I can catch all those fun references.
But you had a lot of fun reading Mistborn recently, which is another epic series.
Yes, I highly recommend Michael Nip.
I'm doing it. I'm on chapter 3 or 4 now.
You started it.
Yeah, I did. I started it for real.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to put up another question, but you guys can feel free to keep sharing about characters.
Sorry, Chrissy, we totally tangented.
Oh, I forgot to give this one a label. Dang. Sorry if anybody was going to use the labels on this next one. They are not there.
No worries.
But credit to Kristen for helping me with this question. There it is. So, if you were to give Stormlight characters a yearbook title of most likely to do something, what title would you give them? I know there's going to be some cracks about Kaladin and being emo, but
Yeah, right.
that's
what we bring him at
low-hanging
first.
fruit.
Paladin is most likely to wear a hoodie in class.
Hold it over his head. Yeah.
That's the best way to say it. You won. You win.
Oh, that's good.
Hmm.
I was like, maybe grumpy.
Oh,
The Swordmaster? How do you say his name? Zahel? Zahel? Do you say the H? Do you not say
Zahel?
no.
I don't know.
I don't remember how I said it earlier.
The audiobook, I think, says Zyle, but before that, I was just like, Zahel!
Yeah, right.
That's what I would have said.
Shalon.
Like a pyramid.
Oh, I love that. Yes,
Oh, man.
Yes.
Yes.
so true.
Oh my goodness.
Great.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh my goodness.
Most likely to beat younger kids up under the bleachers. Do that.
Madeline, most likely to join a frat. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
It is, but it's only kind of true. I don't want to sit here and just be the Adolin defender. He's kind of dumb though.
I wonder.
Frat boy.
He's a lot of fun. We'll put it that way.
I wonder if Dalinar would be like the most likely to become school principal.
Adeline most likely to peak in high school.
Yes.
So
Oh, Rich was a good one. Sadius, most likely to get
Oh
elected.
no, that just hits way too close to home.
Yikes.
That's just too real.
oh,
Oh man.
So true.
a little too true there.
The comment that
Oh.
Beth did about the psych ward and Shalon, I think everyone that is in this story as a main character could probably use some serious therapy.
Oh, yeah.
But we are
Yes.
spending a lot of time on Shalon's backstory, and
Yeah.
it explains a lot. She's definitely one of the most I want to hug this characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely to need a hug, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nate has a good cultural reference, a few down.
Yes. This one?
Yeah.
Most likely to have faithfuls built on our head at prom.
Is that a Stephen King reference?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Stephen King
Scary.
reference.
That was my guess.
To carry.
I've seen like the scene, but I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, same. It's this scene.
Would Shalon then actually go nuts on everyone too? Like,
Well, she has a shard blade.
I know, right? You're right.
I mean, we've kind of seen her do that a little bit.
Yeah, she snaps on 10 a little bit.
Just a little
Yeah.
bit.
How do you say it?
Can I just say I laughed? Actually, this is one of the parts I laughed out loud when I forget why she gets upset at Tin, like internally at something, and she says that thought to herself, like that. Kind of people a lot of times have this kind of vague, non-serious thought where like, man, I'm going to strangle that person or I'm going to kill them, and she starts to think that about Tin, and she's like, oh wait, I did kill her.
Aw.
I just laughed out loud because it was like, that doesn't happen.
Oh.
Hmm.
This
wow,
most
lots
likely
of
to is a good idea.
Anyone have one for the king?
For who?
For the king, for Elokar? Anyone have one?
Oh.
Oh, Elokar.
Let's see.
I love that he loves wit, though. Like,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the tone interlude. I
Yeah.
really like this wit. We know Elokar.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen Elokar do anything since the first chapter he was in.
Yeah.
And then,
Except wine.
and then all he did was
Just
like
wines.
climb a spire.
I feel like Elokar would be most likely to be conned into buying a timeshare or something.
Or be conned into then turning around and try to sell them himself.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a
Like,
good
this
one.
is a
Leia.
great idea.
Leia has most likely to join a TV cooking competition, Rock. Yeah.
I think Rock could
Yes.
beat Bobby Flay if we're gonna vote on that.
Heck yes.
So which character would win Great British Baking Show?
I don't think so. So true.
Those are so good. Oh my God.
The
Oh
question
my
is,
word.
which reality TV show would he be into?
He would also be most likely to be addicted to fake news.
Oh man, I mean, Ellicott definitely is like super conspiracy theory. Like, I mean, he's like full on, like beyond regular news, like Alex Jones level stuff. Like, he's crazy, man.
Well, we have a Ellicott most likely to start a conspiracy website comment.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
He
yes.
definitely has his own podcast where he's talking about the deep state, but he's the king.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
Yeah, Ellicott definitely watches soap operas. That's what he does.
Addicted to yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, these are too good.
Naked and Afraid.
Is that a show?
It is a show.
Oh
Oh
man,
gosh.
I'm afraid to ask.
Oh, Leah Kay has most likely to do one of those take a picture of herself every day for 10 years videos. Ellen. Yes.
Accurate.
So true.
Rich also says most likely to join a cult, which is like totally right. Because
Yes.
when we has that crazy epic scene where he has the hallway battle,
Yeah.
and then when Kaladin's arm restores, he's like, I was wrong. They lied to me. They
Yeah.
said I was truthless. And you're like, dude, you've done some bad things on a bad assumption.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he just like runs away. That's
yeah.
oh man.
Does anybody does anybody remember when Syl made that comment to Kaladin that when he's like talking about getting vengeance against Amaranth, and she's like, "You shouldn't be like this, Kaladin. You're not a Skybreaker." Did
Mhm.
anybody look up Skybreakers?
No.
No, but I did notice when I start
Does that have anything to do with
What?
Wormbreakers and Skybreakers? Are they related?
Well, did you the little snippets that come before each chapter?
Yeah.
They start talking about edge dancers and all those little
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
codes. Yeah, and I think one of them mentioned Skybreakers. I don't remember what it said.
I do
now.
remember that,
But I started like when I read that one, I was like really reading. I read it a couple times just to see like what information I could glean from it. So that was
I
interesting. It made me really curious about Skybreakers, but I didn't look it up.
There
I
are a lot
wouldn't look
more.
it up if you haven't read Oathbringer yet, because there's
Yeah.
definitely some spoilers in there. So don't look it up if you.
I think the general rule of thumb is don't look up anything from any Sanderson book ever until you've read all like 15 novels he's written.
Yes.
Nice when you're trying to find connections after you've read it, because a lot of times the wiki pages will have like every instance of everything.
Yeah.
But it's totally spoilery.
That's why, and we found out last week, but I absolutely love Raj's video, Ramsey from Rajathon. He broke down like the Cosmere without spoilers. It was awesome.
I agree. Good video.
But for a good read and find out moment, the Skybreakers do have a little significant portion of Oathbringer.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, sorry. Ignore my comment then. I think I was being spoilery on accident. Don't look up Skybreakers. Okay.
But the way that-
Good ones that I
The way
missed.
that Syl says it, it does kind of seem like a little bit of like a Air Force making fun of the Marines joke or something.
Yeah.
So what would pattern
You're
most
not a
likely be,
Skybreaker.
or most likely to?
Oh, his most likely.
Yeah. What's patterns?
Patterns. Ooh, I love patterns so
I know he's hilarious.
The,
Yes.
Two.
the what?
What?
Sorry. What'd you say, Victoria?
Oh, he just said, I love Pattern also.
Yeah. He's so great.
He's so cute for being just a little black diagonal blob thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that quote from Rich. Lie, Syl said aghast. Kaladin, what do you think I am, a cryptic? I hope Pattern and Syl meet up someday.
I think they will. I assume they will.
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Now that Kaladin and Shallan have met.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sorry. What is this referring to? I don't know what this is referring to.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay. Explain, Reader Reborn. Let's see.
Because of friends.
Bye, Angela. Thanks for coming.
Oh, bye, Angela.
Angela.
All right, we'll put up a new question, but if you guys have any more titles for people, please share. Is there
Oh,
any
that was
characters-
great.
That was like one of the most fun ones we had.
Good idea.
Good idea, Kristen. Thank you.
We'll need to do that for Mistborn someday.
Yes. Oh man. Is there any other characters that we missed? Because that was so fun.
Maybe Kaladin is, or not Kaladin, maybe Pattern is most likely to master the harmonica.
Oh, because well, it's humming.
I like that. I don't know.
Looks like we come and get the getaway driver.
I don't think Dalinar got any.
No,
well, he
Dalinar
got
didn't.
principal.
Yeah, Dalinar.
I mentioned, I mean, mine wasn't very good, but most likely to be school principal. But I'm sure there's a
Oh,
funny
yeah.
one out there.
Well, it's like back in book 1 when Wit makes fun of literally everyone at that party but Dalinar.
Oh yeah,
Kazoo.
that's right.
I mean, he's probably in the chess club, right? Dalinar is.
No one did one for Navini either.
Oh yeah, Navani.
Or Navani.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny.
She's so. I forgot. I had a
Yasna.
quote for her.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Yasna. I had a quote for her. note.
Yeah, it's the most likely to be invited to all the popular clubs and doesn't join.
I missed. Oh, that one hasn't come through yet. Or was that yours, Kristen?
What?
Was that yours?
Yeah, that was mine.
That
I
was
just came
yours.
up with that.
She said- I was like, oh, I don't see that one. Well done.
Leslie says, y'all leave Yasna alone. I'm still mad she was murdered.
Oh.
But we know she's not dead.
Well.
Speaking of predictions.
Yasna would be awful to take a class with, though. Like, if she was your classmate, oh my word.
So imagine this. You're in a class. On one side of you have Yasna. On the other side of you have Bella Swan.
I mean, Bella Swan is just like... She's
You
like,
had to bring
whatever.
Twilight up, didn't you?
I had to beat Michael to it.
I would be Bella's friend.
Heck yeah. She's
Hey
a
man, I
cute
read Midnight
friend.
Sun. I like Bella.
Oh. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Oh,
Stop.
burn.
Oh, that's my type of humor, and it's so bad.
I liked that someone had a Dalinar one. I didn't see who it was, but most likely to not be mad, just disappointed.
Yeah.
Yes.
His dad vibes are so strong. though.
I know. I know.
Oh, yeah. Most likely to be teacher's aide.
Yeah, that one.
If Yasna is the way she is now as a kid, she would be like that little super nerdy kid with the glasses in Boy Meets World that constantly is like answering all of the questions before everyone, and he's like very snarky about it.
Minkus.
Yeah, Minkus, that's it.
Oh, Minkus.
Oh man.
Oh yes. Okay. I'll read the hype question because people are already writing in about it. Okay. So, hype, what are you What are you expecting and like most looking forward to, and other predictions? But mostly what you're really excited about, because
I'm really looking forward to finding out how Shallan got her shard blade, or rather, who it used to belong to, who she got it from.
yes.
Because we already know she killed her father. So either somehow he had one or there's some other, I don't know. So, or there's someone else that she killed. I don't know. But
Well, her mother. I'm also interested in her mother's soul being in a box in the wall.
yeah, that only Shalon can see apparently.
Yeah. What's going on there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rich.
Speaking of things that we've talked about in Michael's Discord thread about Stormwong, this is one of those things. So you should come and join the conversation.
That's very much edge dancer focused.
True. Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what I'm looking forward to, but at least twice I've texted Michael and be like, "Oh man, this crazy thing happened," and Michael's response is like, "You ain't seen nothing yet." So I don't know what I'm looking forward to, but I'm sure it's epic.
Yeah.
There's like 3 more massive, awesome, epic moments in this book at least. And like all of them, I'm so looking forward to rereading.
Ramsey too keeps saying every time anyone has been saying something, Ramsey's like, but just wait.
Yeah.
I don't want to overhype, but it's kind of worth it. It's worth the overhype.
I mean, if it's anything like Way of Kings, it'll be worth it. Like that last 100 pages was totally worth the 900 page prior to it, and 300 page beginning slog.
Outliner syndrome.
I'm curious. Okay, so if Sanderson doesn't really throw random things in there just for the sake of it being random, unless he's truly trying to do like red herrings and such, Rock's whole description, right at the end of the bit we read for tonight about like that area he's from, where there's like the lake, volcano, mountain,
The hot springs.
yeah, the hot springs thing. Like, I'm wondering if that has something to do with Urithiru, Hidden City.
Well, and I think it's interesting. Someone, I think, one of the comments you put up on the banner a minute ago, referenced the fact that Rock, when he's talking about supposedly he saw, oh yeah, I saw one of the gods, and the rest of us, you know, kind of figure out like, wait a minute, I think he's talking about Wit, because then Sigil has it. Was like, wait a minute, he's like, he had white hair, and I remember from the scene when Kaladin meets Wit, and you kind of make this connection, like he had an apprentice who's now. It's all convoluted, but I remember making the connection, like Kaladin meets Wit, realized Sigil was his apprentice, and now Sigil hears that's reference in Rock's story, and for some reason it bothers him. And the fact that he shows up in this story where Rock thinks he met a god, I don't know. I'm just that's leading somewhere, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting theory I hadn't thought of, that has something to do with that hidden city. I
don't know.
So, but I don't know.
I'll just say this: I'm expecting a lot of characters to do a lot of things that we don't expect. Like, Dalinar could turn to the dark side. Any of these things could happen, and I'll keep reading. But if Lopen ever becomes a traitor, I'm freaking giving up on the story. He can't be a bad guy.
I don't think that's possible. I hope.
You know what? I am waiting to see how many of his cousins end up in Bridgeport. I have like 30.
I mean, we have at least 4 cousins now in Bridgeport.
I think so.
Cousin might be a state of mind instead
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah.
a relation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so in the very last Shalon flashback we read, the second last chapter for tonight's reading, that messenger that comes, the unnamed messenger, did anyone think it might have been her older brother in disguise?
Oh, I thought it was Hoyd.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
That's what
that makes more sense.
I thought.
My thought for it was that you see him like basically like slip something into his drink, like polyjuice potion-esque. I was thinking maybe change his appearance. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Wit makes a ton more sense though.
Well, but then there's the thing of like why when he first sees Shalon enter the area where her father is sitting, and he has that like double take, and then like covers it up and pretends. So it's like, what about her made him do that?
Well, and that's one of the things that made me think it was her brother. Maybe just hasn't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
Could be. I thought it was Hoyd just because he spoke very broadly about like the world. And whenever we have a character speak very broadly kind of about abilities and the Cosmere, you know, I feel like that might be Hoyd.
I think the implication is that it's supposed to be
Okay.
Wit.
And that makes
Hoyd.
Right?
Hoyd is what, yeah.
that's what I thought.
And that makes sense too, because he basically like asks Shallan in a kind of a not really sneaky, but just a way like, "Hey, have you ever had spheres go dark around you?" She just doesn't want to answer that. So I guess that would really be something her brother would be knowledgeable about, presumably.
That's true.
Yeah, the shards here are very strict. I was like, what is he?
I know.
Yeah.
Nate's comment of his possible or explanation for why he started is something is the only thing I thought of.
This one?
Sorry, the other.
Oh, he saw the
both of
Stormlight.
them. Yeah, either
he
maybe
saw the Stormlight.
the Stormlight or some evidence of that. So that was the only thing that crossed my mind is whoever this guy is, like somehow can pick up on that kind of thing and was just surprised to see it in someone.
Okay.
The shard quote that you guys used earlier.
Which
Actually, the one Rich did about the
shards are very strict.
The shards are very
This one?
strict.
Yeah.
I think that relates actually directly to Ramsey's video and specifically the way that the Cosmere works.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Yeah.
Based on the way I'm interpreting it, at least.
Is it to do with the shattering of whatchamacallit?
Yeah, yeah.
Ramsey's video is wonderful. It's on the Cosmere shards, and I highly recommend it. It's linked in the description of our last live stream on my channel, and heck, I'll put it in this one too. Or was it the
Do
live
it.
stream before that?
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's in the. You mentioned it in the last one.
Okay. So I'll put it in this one too, though, just so it's there. It's really a wonderful video, and I don't think maybe it's like big. There might be some kind of spoiler thing, but I think you'd have to be I think you'd have to understand the Cosmere pretty well for it to spoil you. It's like a little bit too abstract, I think, to be spoilery.
Yeah, if there are any spoilers, you'd have to be really, really knowledgeable about a lot of the other things.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I feel like I missed some stuff up here that you guys said, like about hype. And Zeth was like, I'm looking forward to book 5 so I can learn my backstory.
So
That's great. Oh,
Is that-
Kandra, hidden in Roshar. Interesting.
what's Condor?
Ooh.
That's
Who
Mm.
said
Is that a Mistborn thing?
a Mistborn thing, yes.
that? Yes.
We'll say no.
What was it?
This
The,
Oh, yeah, the one highlighted.
Zeth said it. Okay. I always do that. I put somebody's thing up here and I haven't read the second half yet. Not always, but sometimes.
I'm still reading Mistborn. I'm learning slowly.
Yeah. I don't know what Condra yet. I don't know what it is.
that is very interesting. Indeed. I would like to know who they are also. What? Okay. So I didn't know this was a thing. So now my mind is blown.
What?
Some crossover. Some Mistborn crossover. Exciting.
Crossovers are amazing the way he hides stuff.
I'm curious at what point he's just gonna go like all the way, like get your Avengers or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah,
he said he would do it.
yeah. Well, it won't be anytime soon because he announced today he's doing Skyward 3 next year and then Wax and Wane 4 next year too.
It might. Rhythm of War might have some. I mean, we might have some Avengers moments already if you
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What? You go.
I would say isn't the Dragonsteel trilogy that's supposed to come out in like 80 years supposed to be Hoyd's backstory?
What? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he has a trilogy called Dragonsteel. It's supposed to be like way farther down, like his timeline of books, like maybe right before his final Mistborn cycle.
Does he have to
Writing it
rewrite them?
18 years old.
What was that?
I said he'll be writing it when he's 80 years old. Like
Yeah,
that.
right. Well, he says it right now is that the Cosmere series of books is 35 books long, and I think he's 12 or 13 books into it.
Huh.
So he's getting toward the halfway point. But he also did say that he's gonna slow down on doing non-Cosmere stuff in coming years and mainly focus on Cosmere with few exceptions.
He has to count on a long life or we'll be very sad.
Oh, yeah. Because don't forget, he has to still have to finish some other series like Patrick Rothfuss's stuff.
We must protect him at all costs.
I like, as much as I want him to push through these books, writing 5 drafts of a Stormlight book in like a year and a half seems like just torture.
I hope he's not going to burn out. Like one day he's just like, forget this.
He says that that's why he takes breaks from writing epic fantasy and does things like Skyward and some of his like young adult stuff, just so that he doesn't burn out in epic fantasy.
Like, only like he keeps making Skyward bigger and bigger. Like, I guess that's a slight spoiler, but it just keeps getting bigger.
But at least his Mistborn, his like Mistborn era season or Mistborn era 2 they're short for Sanderson books. You can knock one of those out in a weekend, probably.
Rich said he sneezed out Dawn Shard.
Yeah, he did it like 2 months or something.
Pretty much.
Actually,
He wrote 40,000 words
one
like a day, didn't he?
Wait, did he write Dawn Shard in a month? How long was the Kickstarter?
It was like 2 months, maybe.
Okay, so 2 months. And I'm gonna get, if Dawn Shard is the same size as Edge Dancer, then it is a small normal book. It's like an 8-hour audiobook.
Yeah. Was it true that he wrote like 40,000 words the last day or two for it? I thought I saw that somewhere.
Oh yeah, I saw on his post.
That's insane. That's the length of a Chronicles of Narnia book on average.
That means
just gonna write one
Daniel
of those
Green's
again.
Amy joke video was correct, where he just doesn't stop.
So accurate.
Are you typing on your phone?
Are you writing while I'm talking to you?
No, I was. Did you guys watch? He did a live stream. I think it was last week, and I was watching that live stream, and somebody asked him about that Daniel Green video, and he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of silly, but like, I would be lying if I had not said like I've been on a plane, had my laptop die, started typing on my phone, had my phone die, and then just started writing on a piece of paper, and then when I got home, I had to compile it all together."
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my goodness.
He's the only reason why he's able to that's the only reason why he's able to output that much.
I'm going to put up another question, but feel free to keep sharing the things that you are hyped about for the future, predictions and anything else that you're looking forward to. And the label is hype. And for the new question, catchphrase. If you created a secret Stormlight fan club, what would be your secret catchphrase? Label catchphrase.
Oh, I'm not
There's
good with
just-
catchphrases.
I mean, your first order, like the life before death, strength before weakness, you know, that seems like the obvious answer, but it's also kind of long.
Yeah.
How does everyone imagine the Bridge 4 salute looking when you read it?
I don't.
I don't.
I mean, I just
Exactly.
imagine a normal salute. That's all I got.
Well, you described it. It has something to do with their fists.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I remember reading about that, but I forget exactly what they do.
I think it's both of them. Like, I don't know if it's like this or this. Like, how they do it like
This,
they're
right?
whatever.
Yeah, I thought they crossed it.
Oh, Chrissy, Zeth has the best catchphrase.
That is good. Yeah. That's
Okay, so Peter says he already has one and he can't use it yet, so I'm guessing that's something from Oathbringer.
Oh,
I don't
no.
remember. I just do not remember Oathbringer that well. Maybe I should have waited on this question, but it just sounded too fun.
It's good to start thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man. What are some of the things we would say?
And Leslie says shells are decoration, not food.
Oh, and then Rich has divergent flora in an otherwise uniform ecosystem. Yes, that's my vote.
A little bit of a mouthful, but we'll go with it.
You want a really simple one, just boots.
Boots.
That's become like the Storm Along 22. Rich kind of made that a thing now because like my Discord, Leslie's Discord, the Facebook page, like everything is just emojis of boots this week or this
I'm laughing, crying. Thanks.
I am
Rich.
offended.
I am offend or the she had another one. I think it was last week's though. Kid, you're kind of strange.
Oh, fist to chest, like
For the salute.
I was almost positive it was 2 and it was crossed somehow.
That's what I was remembering too, but
Where is it? Was it back in Way of Kings that they describe it, or is it?
it's
In
all
this
right
book.
together now.
It might have been the end of Way of Kings. Yeah, so she said tapping their wrists together. I thought maybe it's like some kind of sign language.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, I hear Una shipping you chicken wings.
Oh, sweet. I had chicken wings tonight, actually. I sent a picture to Una every week now. Chicken
It's
wings.
gotten to the point, Michael, where every Thursday I think about that. It's like, oh, it's
It's
chicken wing
like
night.
a Pavlovian response now. It's a Thursday. You're like, I need wings.
I want to know where Una is.
He might have finished
Wait,
the first book.
Oh, I thought you were like where, like physically.
He's very close to finishing
Oh,
the
where you
first
in
book.
Yeah.
I know that in their they
Oh,
did a
that's
wrap
our
up.
catchphrase.
The Codex did a wrap up video today, and poor Crypto was just like, "Dude, I can't finish The Way of Kings. I've been listening to it at every spare moment. It's like 45 hours long. I can't do it."
Oh, I still need to watch that video. My catchphrase in life is someday I'll get caught up on Codex Cantina videos.
The intro of their newest video is my favorite thing.
The one that came out today. Oh, I need to watch it tonight.
Oh yeah, unite them.
Ooh, that's a good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great catchphrase.
solid.
Yeah.
The problem is that I don't whenever I try to read this book out loud, like if I'm trying to read it to Amanda, I don't feel like I can convey the voice of Stormfather or the Visions or Dalinar even, because
Mhm.
I feel like their voice is just too good for anything I could portray.
Mhm.
It would have to be like an all-encompassing voice and just like booming, like
Yeah.
surround
You need
sound.
a surround sound system
Yeah.
to talk like the Stormfather.
Yeah. Throw a filter on there.
That is so true about Rashar. It's not a
Everything's
safe
nice to
place
tell
to
you.
live. Not vacationing there,
Ooh,
unless
Morgan
it's the Pure
Freeman.
Lake.
I like the Morgan Freeman voice for the Stormfather.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe Zale. That's how I say it, Zale.
Mm. Zale.
If I'm not thinking about it, I guess that's how I say it.
Zale.
Oh.
All my pronunciation is always wrong anyway. I rely on these live streams for you guys to tell me how to pronounce things. Oh, yes. Optimus Prime.
Doesn't Optimus Prime in the old Transformers movie, doesn't he have James Earl Jones as his voice? Because that works too.
No,
No,
that's
Leonard.
Optimus Prime is Peter Cullen, I think.
Okay.
And Leonard Nimoy is he was one of the villains back before the movie started getting really weird.
I'm sure Chelsea.
You.
Oh my gosh. Rich, you're killing me. Oh, you're killing Leslie too.
And Peter says Nuvani. That's
No,
Navani, rather than my.
That's how I
I said
say it.
Beanie.
Well,
I
you
don't
just-
know anything.
You just remembered it wrong. Google.
Ooh, Liam Neeson. He's not buff enough, but he's got a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not who I've been trying to figure out who I'm picturing in my head for some of these characters, like because when I'm reading about them, I'm picturing like an actual face, and so I've been trying to think of like actors that fit most closely, and I haven't figured it out yet.
I'll say it again. For some reason, Christopher Judge is Dalinar in my head.
Who?
Christopher Judge.
Oh, that's the live stream you missed.
Yeah, I missed. Oh, okay.
I still think the only one that I'm still convinced on is what's his name now? I just forgot it. For wit, Paul Bettany.
Yeah, he'd be a
Who's that?
great wit.
Just because of him playing Chaucer in A Knight's Tale. That's how I
can
imagine
see
wit.
that. I can see that. That's not who I picture, but I can see where you're coming from.
How are you guys feeling about the Ghost Blood side plot thing that happened? Like, what were your thoughts when Shallan oversaw that message that Tin was getting on the span read? Like, was that a cool moment for you guys?
Oh yeah.
That's a real like, oh crap, and then things pick up, and then she just kind of decides to take on this mantle for herself to try to figure out what's going on.
Well, last night when Kristen was reading that chapter where the one you mentioned with the span read thing, it has a really like unassuming chapter name, and Kristen just is like, like this chapter name is interesting. I'm like,
the one where she ends up killing Tin in self-defense, and it's called Blossoms and Cake, and I was like,
and Kristen's like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, oh man, this is the chapter I've been waiting for you to read. And you're like, what?
Ironic.
Well, I still don't know why it's called that. Like,
It's ironic. It's irony.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the only thing I can like. Maybe that's the fluffiest name you could think of for, a chapter that's completely the opposite.
But that moment is like so cinematic in my head, where she's like reading the span read, and then she keeps going, and she's like, "Oh yeah, about we killed Yasna or whatever," and Shallan's like, "Oh crap," and then they keep writing, and it's like, "Oh yeah, but she got or like her ward got away. She had some ward named Shallan." It's like, "Oh no."
Yeah. That I think is my favorite moment of the first half of the book, even more than Kaladin's duel with Szeth. Like they're both epic moments, but like Kaladin had his epic moment in the first book, and like Shallan, like this is when she finally starts really, really coming into her own. I feel like
it was definitely the moment I was like, oh, Shallan is a threat. Like don't mess with her.
Yeah,
she's not like the innocent character that she leads people to believe.
That's so true.
Sorry.
No,
Zed, can you please share that list? Or you can, please share the list. I was going to say, you should do Ryan's tag, but I would love to see that list. If you go into one of the Discords or something, you should share it.
How fast was your heart racing during the scene where Kaladin has the like he falls asleep on guard duty, and then it's like, oh crap, something bad's about to happen, I gotta tell the king, and then Szeth shows up? Because the first time I was reading the book, I was like, oh, I first thought he was just going to be hallucinating, or like he was going to be freaking out for no reason, and then it gets real serious real fast.
Yeah.
That part, that whole part from when Kaladin's like senses just kind of, I mean, part of it is that kind of vision he has, but then he's still like, I don't know, I think
still is freaking out.
It sparks his instincts, like he takes that to know something. And just, I don't know, there was something about that whole sequence that was so I think satisfying for him to like be so competent, I guess, as a and that, because that's the kind of bodyguard you want, someone who's that's that competent to like sense when something's wrong and like, okay, no, we need to go, like this isn't right. Like that was a very, I think satisfying is the best word, that sequence.
Yeah, well, my first gut reaction was like, it's too early in the book to have a Szeth confrontation, and then when Wall was like, oh man, this is getting real.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, for Rich, for someone who has these massive books, and sometimes he can be a little heavy on like things going on a very long time, or maybe the exposition being heavy, or maybe just like sometimes it feels like not a lot is happening. He seems to be able to make action moments like incredibly tense and fast when he wants to. Like his control on being able to switch between those two is shown in Words of Radiance maybe more like than any of the other books, I think.
Yeah,
he writes action better than any modern writer I think I've read. It's just very engaging and character driven.
What I loved too about that scene was Kaladin also learns what he can do too.
Yeah.
He can also manipulate Stormlight and do lashings is the term. But
yeah.
That's something I've noticed. Like Sanderson has this ability to like give you new information like through action scenes. Like it's not just an action scene for action. It's like serving a purpose, and I love that.
Well, and it's so cool on that note, Victoria, because the very first time you see Szeth in action right at the beginning of book 1, it stops for all those, in my book, minor opinion, annoying expositions of how the lashings work. And now we know it. So now we can just, like you said, kick it into high gear and we just like have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Christy,
Codex had a funny comment a little bit further up.
I've seen people reference it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's making me wonder how many beers in he is.
Because tonight's filming night.
That's right.
I'm gonna put up another question here about the scene that Michael was talking about earlier. During the storm, when Syl is freaking out, and then Szeth appears. So, I was curious what you guys think about that. Do you think Cal improved or worsened the situation when he brought the Colons down from the pinnacle, the King's conference room, and deeper into the tunnels?
I've been thinking about this question a little bit throughout the day. And I feel like, I hate giving a non-answer, but I feel like there's pros and cons to both. It's like if he had kept everyone up in the top, I think it would have been pretty clear that Szeth was after Dalinar rather than Elhokar. Whereas right now, like, Elhokar still thinks he's after him. So that's kind of under wraps. But the con of that would be that there's more of a likelihood that more people would have died, but then also that more eyes seeing Kaladin. So his powers may have been revealed more. Like more people would have seen like him being cut through the arm and all that if a similar scenario happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess to quote Psych, I've heard it both ways.
I think it was probably the right strategic move. It just is odd that they happened to escape to the exact place where he entered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'm wondering if, the one thing I'm terrible at visualizing in books is like architecture and like the plans of like a space you're in. So I don't know what the architecture of the pinnacle and that room and then the tunnels are like, but I'm wondering if moving down there gave them more exit options. Like if they had been caught up in the pinnacle, would they have been able to, I mean, obviously we know he wasn't after Elhokar, but like would everyone else have been able to I don't know. They have been trapped. Yeah. I don't know.
I think the thing is, like, I think that when they're in basically a tunnel and you have Kaladin, Dalinar, and Adolin on one side and Szeth on the other, since they don't really fully understand Szeth's abilities, like they've kind of heard about them, but it sounds like bullcrap. I mean, I feel like that's probably your best option. You go in as a pitchfork, I think that's what they call it. And then, I tried it. That's what it is. And then it ends up working just because Kaladin tackles him out the window. But like,
yeah.
It's not really a fair fight. They just didn't know it.
Yeah. Well, it also was kind of hard because, I mean, Dalinar and Adolin had always fought together. But then Kaladin's thrown through the mix. So they don't know how he fights. And then Dalinar's without his shard blade. So in a way, you have three fighters who really aren't sure, to an extent, how everyone else is going to fight. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to coordinate something against someone that you don't know to the extent of his powers.
Yeah. I think he probably, I mean, because they didn't know that Szeth's true target was Dalinar, I think they made the best decisions they could with the assumption that the king was the target. Because if the king really was, I think that, you know.
I need to look something up real quick, but I'm pretty sure there's also a very good strategic reason why they're why the tunnel was a very good place to fight him. And now I need to go look this up real quick.
Ooh, that should be interesting.
Does anyone remember what chapter that's in?
Uh,
Dang.
no.
I feel like it's right before one of the parts ends.
30.
Like yes, I think you're right, actually. 32, 33.
Well done.
That's what happens when you have those killer tabs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The
it's
movie.
30, 32, 33.
Yeah.
32 into 33.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Seems like most people think it was a good call.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, like, why did Sanderson, like, from a writing perspective, why did he have them move? Was it just to show that Kaladin has the initiative, or?
I think he was trying to get them to the most like protectable way possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I remember there's a line where Kaladin's thinking to himself, like, what would be the most unpredictable thing? Not that, but where would they not expect to find us? And he's, I don't know where, I don't think he got to make that choice of where to go, but
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think to me, it just, it kind of showcased Kaladin's, yeah, well, it kind of got initiative, but I guess strategy thinking that he actually, you know, he doesn't just, I don't know, that he thinks, I feel like if someone else had been in his job, doing that job, they wouldn't have done what he did. I don't know.
I mean, the alternative is to bunker down in the place that you're in, but if you don't trust the place that you're in, it probably isn't the best option if you think you can get away faster.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if you kind of thought that it was compromised anyway. So the thing that I want to mention, I just wanted to make sure that it was stated here in case I might be spoiling anything, is after Kaladin basically scares Szeth away, it says, the assassin stared at him a moment longer, then turned and fled. Kaladin watched the glowing form run, then lurch into the sky. He zipped eastward as a streak of light. Like, if he, in hindsight, if he can fly, you definitely want to be in the most enclosed space possible.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which he didn't know.
What was that?
He didn't know that at the time, but it was
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh yeah, Rich said the same thing while I was looking it up.
Didn't in one of Dalinar's early visions in book 1, didn't the Radiant he was talking to, he was flying, wasn't he? He like flew in.
Yeah, like dropped in like a comet.
Yeah, the Ravens drop in like little, like meteors,
Yeah.
or like Thor.
So we have flying Jedi now.
Oh, okay. Natasha's read has a writing perspective.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that too, because he notices the stormlight is gone from the spheres, which like
Mhm.
no one else would have probably thought.
Yeah.
At least not from that perspective.
Right.
Kaladin notices it, but Kaladin knows why.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
But also, Kaladin freaking out in the first place, as Natasha mentions, is a very good story moment because he's been trying to constantly hide these things that he knows from Dalinar.
Yeah.
And it's another moment where he's forced to know crap or do crap. Like when he shows up, and Dalinar's like, "You're alive," and he's like, "Yeah, I got lucky, I guess."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really interested to see whether someone, Adolin or Dalinar, figures it out, or Kaladin ends up confessing it, because Adolin has that whole like, you know, like, wait a minute, I'm sure his arm got cut, and he's like, he has that doubt. It's like, wait, something's not right.
Adolin is very uncommittedly observant.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more when he is in battle, he is incredibly competent, and when he is, talking about fighting and dueling and weaponry, he's incredibly competent.
Mhm.
When he's talking about fashion, he's incredibly competent, and he cares. and with everything else, he just kind of doesn't know what's going on at all.
Yeah,
I loved
and that's why I love him as a character. I feel like
I think someone may have said something about it before, or I don't know, maybe I made it up. But the scene in the practice ring when Shallan shows up and he's like, has that whole bit with him and Kaladin and Shallan. It's just really funny. And he makes that comment he's like, yeah, I've had trouble with women. I just don't know what goes wrong. Poor little, naive.
He's very dense.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't really know what's gone wrong with all of them. Obviously, some of his faux pas we kind of can figure out, but I don't know. It's just
to me, Adolin is very much a product of his own culture.
Yeah.
He's grown up as an Alethi male, right? With and also a very privileged one. So all of his idiosyncrasies, I think, are very much just his culture and what he's been steeped in. And I found it really interesting in this last chunk about he was talking to his friend Jakamarov or something. I don't know how to say it, but his friend is like, "Hey man, we're buddies, but I don't want to be seen in public with you right now." And he's like, "Wait, really, you?" And so I like how Adolin's starting to kind of see the flaws in the culture that he's been being raised in, and he's starting to see a lot of conflicts between him and his father's way of life and everybody else's way of life.
Yeah,
he's changing just like the other characters are. It just maybe a little bit slower.
Yeah,
it just gets me that he's not more thankful to Kaladin. I mean, if somebody saved my life twice, even if I was famous, I would be like, "You're awesome, thank you." I would not be criticizing them for being gloomy.
Yeah.
Personally.
Bridge boy.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if, because Dalinar says it straight to Kaladin's face, he's like, "You've got a huge chip on your shoulder and I'm ignoring it." And I wonder if Adolin sees it and it just bothers him more.
Probably.
And he's just not mature enough to ignore the chip. And it's like, dude, get over whatever, and he just doesn't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just a theory.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
I really want Kaladin and Adolin to become best friends, and I'm hoping for that. I'm if this is an enemies to friendship relationship, I'm here for it. I'm hoping that happens, but I don't know.
I'm still calling the love triangle.
Yeah, that's more
a good prediction.
In reference to Raj's statement, I want to know what your guys' predictions are with the meeting that Esha and I called.
Wait,
the truce meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, that.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore now that she is storm form.
Okay, so speaking of her storm form, the scene where Adolin sees the Ardents with that tent and the soulcasters inside, and he sees that one who the way the description of one of the soulcasters, it sounded exactly like Eshonai's storm form. Was that just me? I
didn't catch that.
I don't remember what chapter that is. I mean, it's not it's when they soulcast that wind shield.
Okay.
But there was one of the soulcaster because he was the description he's talking about, how the soulcasters always have this weird look to them, and there was one that he was looking at, and it described the skin, the little I don't remember now, the kind of the prickles, I guess, on the skin, and then I think something about the eyes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that. Something like stone smooth with fine crack. It just struck me how similar that sounded to the way Eshonai's storm form was described, and I was like, okay, something, I don't know if that's significant, but it sounded weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but that
interesting.
I still think that the Everstorm is the whole whatever the percentage you're going to do, and all going to become storm form and become this Everstorm, and that's what we're counting down to. So there'll be
Makes sense.
some
That's what I'm thinking.
big old battle.
Mhm.
Beyond that, though,
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I'm wondering why, if she, now it makes me wonder why she called for that meeting, like so, like sincerely, when she knew she was going to try for storm form.
Well, I don't think she realized what Stormform was going to do to her.
Well, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. It just seemed like
I
something
mean,
that
her
they,
sister was basically begging her to do it.
yeah. I don't know.
It's amazing how he has all of the relevant quotes highlighted. Like he's like, "Oh, I just happened to highlight that one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have them all ready though.
Yeah.
It's, to quote another famous movie, it's impressive. Most impressive.
I think Rich just has the books memorized. At
I
this
think so. Wait, how do we know that Rich isn't Brandon Sanderson?
Wait a sec. I've never seen them in the same place.
I know, right?
He can't be live streaming and be in the chat though, probably.
Hey, Sanderson can write 40,000 words a day. He can live stream and be in the chat at the same time.
He cloned himself, I'm sure. Nate's comment is pretty good.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I tend not to look at you guys on purpose when we're doing predictions.
I'm getting better. I don't know. It's hard. It depends on the thing you say on whether I'm okay or not.
Yeah.
Was there like, I forget what the Thunderclaps were. Was there like a fossil or bones or something?
No, I
like
think
that?
those were those, weren't those
No, sorry, I just saw Rita Reborn. He's chatting with his feet.
Weren't the Thunderclaps those large stone like giants that they were fighting? Is that what those were? From the
Oh,
like the time
the
the
vision.
yeah, and the
Oh,
visions,
yeah, I
and then
think
from the
so.
prelude. Isn't
They're
that what
mentioned- yeah, they're multiple times in book 1. I don't remember them being mentioned here for a while.
No.
Okay. I'd like to know about those too. Maybe we'll see them again. Yeah.
That was the beast in the prelude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
I think it's also in one of Dalinar's visions, at least.
Yeah, I think he sees them like it's when they looking over that city that's destroyed and people are.
I think it also isn't there one where they're like chasing a spren in the water and one busts up through the water?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the beast in the prelude was a Voidbringer at the time, so maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
I have a theory. My thought is that in the presumed end battle with the Everstorm, in a desperate maneuver, Shallan is going to take them through Shadesmar and somehow end up in Urithiru to escape.
I wondered. It occurred to me because when she wait, you know what? Because I accidentally read a chapter ahead. I came into chapter
Not on
47.
purpose this time.
No, I didn't realize it. I didn't. I wasn't paying attention to the chapter numbers, and I think I can't say that. Well, I mean, it's not like huge spoilerish, but I'm
This
not.
chapter after you can't say it.
I'm sorry. Never mind.
You
I
can say it
can't
next week
anything.
or 2 weeks.
What did you guys think about the whole return of Gaz sort of half redemption thing?
I totally missed because they use his name in
Yeah.
the earlier chapters, and it didn't strike me at all that
I took the initiative, and when Amanda mentioned that part, I was like, "Hey, do you recognize those names?" And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Look at this name." She's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Okay, I'll tell you."
yeah, I totally didn't recognize it. It wasn't
This
until
one to Blackov
Yeah.
as well.
wait, who?
He was the slaver with Kaladin at the very beginning of Way of Kings.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I just loved how like Gaz is like friendship with Shallan, and then it's so opposite of
Yeah.
Kaladin and Gaz's relationship. It was another moment of Sanderson brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a light eyes man.
there's a lot of with the Sanderson is really good at like the second chance kind of redemption arc thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can make somebody pretty awful, and then you see it from his perspective, and then he changes, and then suddenly you're on his side.
Yeah. I'm still convinced that Kaladin is going to get a shard blade at some point, just because a book and a half in, and he still hates the Light Eyes as much. It would just be such a great character development moment for him to become one and have to deal with the fact that he has become outwardly the very person that he hates.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just an opportunity that like Sanderson can't pass up.
I would back that theory up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really interested eventually to find out why Syl hates Shardblades so much. Because every time Kaladin does any kind of like, or well, and not just him, but like, so when Dalinar gave up his Shardblade, she was all like, oh, I'm so glad he got rid of that thing. And then when in the training, when Cal refuses to try out the real Shardblade, she's like, oh, thank you for, I'm curious to find out, because I'm sure we will at some point, why she just has such a distaste for them.
I wonder if it has to do with Shadesmar and like the magic system with like the different types of spren.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Also about Syl too, when the Stormfather is talking to Kaladin, when he's having his dream, and he says, we're going to kill Syl, or he says something like,
yeah,
kill her.
Yeah.
And I think Kaladin thinks he's talking about Syl, right? So I'm interested what's going on there.
Yeah. Well, because that was something that Pattern said to Shallan, that he was really reluctant. He started to say something, and she dragged it out of him that like we were all killed. He was like, oh yeah, I want to learn as much as I can before you kill me. And she's like, I'm not going to kill you.
Right.
And I think that was something about something that happened, which is why I wondered if Syl's thing with Shardblades has something to do with the whole betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened to the Spren and all that. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yeah.
We just don't know if it's in this book, the next book, or 18 years down the road.
Yeah.
I will learn what you can of you before.
Yeah.
Coming in collect again.
Yep.
That was so creepy when Pattern said that at the first time. I remember the first time I read it, I was like,
yeah.
She's gonna
Yeah.
It's incredibly creeped out by Pattern like all the time.
Really?
He's super weird, yeah.
Oh, I like Pattern.
Yeah,
he just seems like
Odd's friend.
a professor.
I will say, I can imagine that if you're not used to him, like Shallan is, that it would be kind of creepy to just literally have this pattern that just like moves around in your dress, or like seeing someone's embroidery move like around on their clothing.
Also just spy on people to make sure they're not following you. That's useful.
Yeah.
But the things he says are buck wild, like that. Like he says all kinds of very cryptic things.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, he doesn't quite understand like the nuances yet of language and metaphor. Like he's still learning, and like I don't know, it's just
That's a great quote, Nate. I agree. I can't wait to hear Christy and Michael just kind of burst forward with their theories for future books.
Yeah.
I'm not as good at theories as you guys are, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, you guys are pretty next level.
You guys really are.
I feel like Syl. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel like Syl is a much more like likable spren in general, because she also takes like a very human form, whereas Pattern has like never taken a human form of any kind that we've seen. He's just like an otherworldly kind of creature, and so I can see how like Pattern would maybe be a bit off-putting to people. Syl's a little bit more likable and relatable.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that is an interesting thought, that Pattern, for the different forms he can take, seemingly he like can't or won't or doesn't take human form.
Mhm.
But he does cool stuff. Like he does like a Yasna voice impression.
Oh
Where-
yeah, yeah.
He,
That
Yeah,
was
I love
he has his own little perks.
yeah.
It's like a recording device.
Yes. He imitates the patterns.
Yeah, Shalon and Pattern are my favorite duo in this book.
This is so interesting. It's been fun to see your ideas change too, Ryan, about the characters.
I forget what I even said a month ago.
Okay.
I just know that I like Words of Radiance a lot better than Way of Kings.
I was
Is
thinking that too. That comment you just posted from Beth Ann, that because there was this weird I'm gonna make sure I'm not getting ahead of where we're supposed to be. No, because the parts we read, that does include that scene where Shalon gets in the carriage to meet Adeline, right? That's part of what we read. She like has to get ready real fast.
No,
We
I
haven't
don't
read
think
that.
so.
Have we not read that? Okay.
No, we haven't.
Am I
read that.
ahead? Darn it. I agree with Beth Ann though. Her that thing. So
Interesting. That would be entertaining.
It would be a weird take on the buddy cop because it's not like a silly one and a serious one. Because like Lopin and Adolin would be like a silly one and a super naive one who is just competent at fighting.
Yeah. Oh man, Lopin though, one of the best characters in this entire series.
Yes.
I love him just bringing in all his cousins and Kaladin being like, wait, who are these people?
Yeah. Just from moment one, he was like so joyful when he entered Bridge 4, like way back in book 1.
Yeah.
Okay, this is me like trying not to spoil something. Wasn't there a moment with Shen in this section?
Yes.
Two
Okay.
really good moments.
Yeah. Kaladin said that Dalinar said that he could finally arm Shen, and
If he
like
trusted
Shen
him.
wants to like tell him something, but then doesn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
that I was
Powerful moment though.
intrigued.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, definitely the difference between the two moments. Well, first of all, the first half of the scene, or well, the first half of that whole thing, when Shen first comes to him and is like, "Am I really part of Bridge 4?" And I think that's really the first time we've seen him hold a conversation in the book.
Mhm.
And so it's like, oh wow, okay. And then of course, when Kaladin approaches him again, it's like, I'm sorry, I was, basically a coward, and I'm not gonna, treat you differently. That was a cool moment. But I am really interested in what Shen was going to tell him.
Shen is going to be key to the end of this book somehow.
Probably.
He's just like a big setup this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I feel he's like the character you forget about, but he's going to be really important.
Yeah.
Well, and probably because he was fine, like Kaladin finally like decided to treat him like a normal person.
Yeah, he said like I was just afraid.
Yeah. And like
Super-
if that's like the first time someone has done that with a parchment, like that's pretty
It's like-
significant.
It's super important and extra effective to me when that happens because Kaladin is so prejudiced against the Light Eyes when he has to look inside himself when Shen is like, I need a spear. And at first Kaladin's like, I don't think we can go that far. And he's like, well, then I'm not one of you. And you're like, oh, frick, I have to actually
Yeah.
figure this out. So then when he actually does pull it off, it like totally touches Shen and like it's really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever Shen snaps out of the dumb form or whatever it is,
Dull form.
Dull
Dull
form.
form.
Dumb
Yeah.
form.
presumably in the form if they get the call.
Yeah.
Like that's just gonna be interesting seeing him become like, not that he's not sentient, but like for all intents and purposes, like
Yeah.
a thinking person.
Homie Spren.
Homie Spren.
Oh yeah, always fun.
And this whole read along is my homie spread.
You know, I wondered if because when Shen was like, I forget now what words, but he was like, well, sir, like he was actually needing to tell him something. I wondered if he was going to say anything that somehow related to Shallan's research into the parchment. Like if there was something he knows that I don't know.
Yeah.
About that. It sounded like he was about to admit something. So I don't know.
It makes me wonder what the Parshmen are actually like, because you're right, we haven't seen any actually have a conversation before this. So it makes me wonder, like, all the Parshmen who are serving as like slaves in the Cooper, like, are they all capable of having conversations, and they're just like maybe never have the chance or just pretending? Like, I just feel like there's something interesting, or is it just Shen who's like maybe developing some special abilities, or maybe he's like coming out of being a Parshman and becoming a Parshendi?
And is it just him, or is it like you're saying, like is
him, or is it everybody else too?
Yeah.
In reference to Leah's comment, the Parshendi straight up admit to hiring the assassin.
Yeah.
Like it does seem super mysterious, and I at all points was questioning that until like answers eventually come more freely. But the Parshendi straight up claim that they did it too. So it wasn't like they just tried to pin it on them and then it was like a fake war. They said, no, we did it.
Yeah.
And then yes, Yasna overhears a conversation during the prelude that also relates to it as well.
Yeah.
Who was that? This quote, the last quote Rich posted, starting with "I don't like this." Who is it that says that, or do we know? Is it just a random person that's unnamed?
I don't remember what that is.
I remember reading that. I just don't remember who says it, or if we even know. But I'm pretty sure that's from the prologue. I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I remember.
One of the strangers. Okay, it's just one of the strangers in the hallway, so we don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Right at the beginning in the prologue.
Or prelude.
Prelude, yeah.
One of those things that comes before the story.
Yeah. That's 2.0.
I think there's also in the this could be all made up, but I'm pretty sure in The Way of Kings, one of the interludes with Risen, it talks about how they pawned off Zeth.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was in book 1, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Because they never name him, but they give enough detail to say that, this is to make the audience think this is probably Zeth.
And it's either Zeth or someone exactly like him.
Exactly.
Well, this might be a good place to call it off. I don't know how late. I always feel bad when we run over like an hour and a half because I never set a time limit. We could keep hanging out, but don't know if we should.
It's late for the East Coast folk.
It is.
Yeah,
Almost 11 over here.
Okay, so we'll call it a night, and we'll have another one in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's
I think it's through chapter 68.
Yes, 68, and September 10th, same time, same place.
Nice.
And we hope you'll all be here. And in the meantime, if you want to keep chatting with us, you can join the Discords. There's Michael's Discord and Leslie's Discord, both linked below. And there's also the Facebook group. And sometimes I put announcements in there and stuff. But a lot of the chatting is happening in the Discords. So that's a good place to go if you want more Stormalong fun. So thank you so much for coming, guys.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Great comments as always.
Spread time, same spread, please.
That's good.
If I remember correctly, I think Peter is right because there are multiple like series defining moments in this section.
Oh yeah, was I?
Wow.
Michael, was this the place where you were like, you should change the chapter? It's too intense to stop there.
I was making the joke that there was a specific kind of like in the I think it's the Zeth attack on Dalinar scene, how it splits the fight into 2 chapters.
Mhm.
There's another fight that gets split into 2 chapters later on. It's like,
Oh crap!
and I made the joke that you should end it in between there.
That'd be so mean.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Everyone would cheat. Honestly, everyone would cheat. I don't think it would matter.
Yeah. Because the next one is it September 10th. Is that when you said, Christy?
Yes, September 10th, right here through chapter 68. So.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well,
perfect because then the next 4 days everyone can finish because The Sleep in a Sea of Stars comes out the following Tuesday.
Oh boy.
dang it. I'm so excited and so overwhelmed.
I know, me too.
Why is there
Too many good books.
I don't know. Kristen wants to know why there's pancakes.
Those are
It's
pancakes,
a-
right?
It's,
From
it's an edge dancer joke.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know either, Kristen. I was like, I don't think I've read that reference.
Now I want pancakes.
I know,
It
right?
might actually.
I
They
think
might
I'm
be
not-
an interlude. It might. There's an interlude with the same character from Edge Dancer, and the pancake thing might be relevant there too. I can't
Oh.
remember.
Okay.
We'll find out soon.
Yep.
Edge Dancer's coming up.
Go sleep long.
I am planning on doing a Discord discussion for To Sleep in a Sea of Stars on my Discord, or read along for that.
And you're a part of it, Reader Reborn, so you can come hang out with us if you want. Let's see. Alrighty. We better get going before we keep talking even more. Talk to you later, guys. Thank you so much for coming. This was a great time. Such
Yeah.
Yes,
fun.
indeed.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming out and chatting with us.
Yes. Okay, take care, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, homies friend.
I'm a friend.
Bye.